This episode of the Deep Thinkers podcast is brought to you by Crandall Pest Control. Crandall Pest Control is a family-owned business that was founded in 2002. They do general pest control, rodents, and weed control, but specialize in termites and scorpions. When you call them, mention the Deep Thinkers podcast and get $30 off your first general pest and scorpion treatment. This episode of the Deep Thinkers podcast is brought to you by Bright Island Outreach. Bright Island Outreach is a group of individuals, many of them dentists or dental professionals, that go down into the Dominican Republic multiple times a year. They are networked with local dental schools down there, and so they take dental students that are from the DR or going to school in the DR, and they take mobile dental units and go into these impoverished areas to provide pro bono work for the good people there who otherwise wouldn't have access to good dental care. They start with education and they teach them about oral hygiene. They also do fillings, extractions, root canals, and cosmetics. So they do a nice wide variety of procedures to take care of the people down there. Like I said, they go down there multiple times a year. So it's not like they're just showing up and providing a service one time and then disappearing into the wind. They take care of these people down there and they make sure that they get the repeated dental work that they need. 100% of all the donations given to Bright Island Outreach goes to the cause. So the people that are working for it don't make any money off this. They just get out of it what they put into it, and it always makes you feel good to serve people and help other people, particularly when those people can't help themselves. So if you're looking for a charity to donate to, this is a great cause. All your money that you give will go to the cause. And if you want to get involved a little further, if you have an adventurous spirit and you want to go down to the Dominican Republic with this group, they also let you do that. Dr. Eric has been doing this since he was a child. His dad is a dentist, and so his family would often do these trips, so he's well versed in experiences like these. So check them out at brightislandoutreach.org. So this was kind of a fun, light podcast to do with my cousin. The majority of the time we talk about our cabin. That's the second half of the podcast. So the first half we talk about, we get into restoration, we talk about insurance, we talk about damaged and contaminated and polluted land and the insurance policies on that. So it wasn't anything earth-shattering, but it was interesting conversation. It was fun to talk about, and you will learn some stuff in the first half. But it is what it is. I know the name of the podcast is the Deep Thinkers Podcast, but from time to time we're not going to be having any profound philosophers on the show. There's going to be a lot of people on the show here and there that probably don't have anything to do with deep thinking. This isn't necessarily one of those podcasts, but just to kind of give you a heads up from time to time, kind of keeps me grounded and keeps me silly the way I'd like to be. So anyway, getting on with the podcast, here we go. Hello, Planet Earth. I am here today with Ryan Noble. Ryan is a insurance broker, and he deals with environmental insurance. How's it going, buddy?
It's good, man. It's good.
All right. Full disclosure, this is another relative. I have quite the interesting family. We had Lincoln on. We also had Monica's husband, John Wisco, on.
Probably a lot more interesting, though, I imagine.
Lincoln's was pretty interesting. John's was very interesting.
Yeah.
John's was very science heavy.
Really?
Not everybody's into the science stuff.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah. But I love it, so I'm going to talk about it a lot. Yeah, I think it's good stuff. Yeah. So, right on, man. So yeah, Ryan. My mom actually reached out to me and was like, "Hey, your cousin Ryan has something to do with the environment. He's an environmental something or other, and he wants to come on your podcast." So I reached out and I was like, "What is it exactly that you do?" We had about a 5-minute conversation. I was like, "All right, it sounds good."
Yeah.
All right, so let's break it down for a fraction for me, man. Explain this to me like I'm an intelligent 12-year-old.
Well, so we deal primarily with commercial insurance.
Right.
You have, let's just the two most basic examples of how I explain it. You have, let's just say you have a plumber. Plumber comes into this building right here, comes in, installs pipes. They have to carry insurance. They have to carry commercial general liability insurance. And then if I'm the owner of the building and I say, I want you, Jesse Smith, to come and put the piping in my building here, I want you to carry general liability insurance.
It's a horrible idea. I'm just letting you know right now.
Trust me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hire you. I'm just saying if. So
yeah, my craftsmanship is shit when it comes to plumbing.
So I'm saying, come in. I want you to, but you have to have general liability insurance, and I want you to carry pollution insurance, because if you screw up and you install it incorrectly, and mold gets behind this wall, and everyone in here gets sick, I'm going to come after and sue you. You have to have pollution insurance, because your general liability insurance will exclude all pollution. So I will require you to carry pollution insurance to come in, and that's where I come in. So you go to your insurance agent. The agent comes to me and says, this guy, Jesse Smith, has to have pollution insurance. Can you go get me a quote? I go out to 20, 30 different markets, and I go and get a quote, come back, you bind the coverage. That's what we say in the insurance world. You bind the coverage, and that's my role. I broker out that environmental insurance. That's kind of where I come in. Another quick example, gas stations. Every gas station sells gas. They have to have somewhere to store that gas. It's underground storage tanks. As you can imagine, cracks, they get old, they erode. That stuff starts leaking and gets into our groundwater, and now you're talking.
Then you have water
sick.
Like we have in Tempe right now.
Exactly, man. So that's kind of where we come in. We provide that type of insurance. That's what you're looking at, though.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, it's exciting stuff, though, man.
Yeah, man.
It's
okay,
exciting.
so what's the worst case scenario that's something what's the big, in every industry there's always the spectrum. You know, I would say something small would be like mold insurance. For a plumber. You know, what's like a big whale?
Oh man, gosh, man. I mean, you got these fuel truck. These big fuel trucks carrying thousands of gallons of gas. Yeah. One of those, you see those things tipped over on the side. You've seen that on the news. They tip over. I think kind of where we see some of the bigger environmental claims. You got stuff leaking into. In fact, when you and I spoke, I told you about. I can't remember the name of the movie, but they were dumping. They were dumping pollution into
the Ford Motor Company.
Yeah, they were dumping pollution into the stream, and they knew they were doing it too. So. Surprisingly enough, you do see that stuff. That's kind of where some of the claims come in.
Right.
You get what's called like a brownfield site, where it's just polluted to hell. It's
not coming
just
back.
And so the government actually deems that a brownfield site, and it's just like I said, it's just polluted to hell. Whether it's from a manufacturer that was on there, and you got maybe planing operations going on. Maybe you had a gas station that just leaked to hell. So you have these big sites that want to be redeveloped into condos or homes, and that thing has been sitting on pollution for the last 30 years, because let's just say even a farmer back in the 60s just buried a bunch of asbestos crap in that field.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we start to see a lot of stuff. And then so you see like a open field out here in Gilbert. Someone wants to go buy it and say, I want to develop that into a home. Well, let's just say, and they go and they do an environmental test on that thing, and they're like,
nope.
Damn, this farmer dumped a bunch of crap there 30 years ago. You have to clean this up in order for us to even start digging on it. That's where you see the big policies. Yeah. We call them site pollution policies. That's where you see these big policies, like we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. And just a policy premium.
How long does it take to, say you've got a big 20-acre field in the middle of Mesa, Gilbert, or somewhere? I guess that's the only towns that they exist in right now.
Yeah.
Tempe's all full.
Yeah.
Scottsdale's full.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Phoenix, you might have one.
You might have a few. Yeah.
How much does it take to clean up something like that if they've got say
man.
gasoline or asbestos? Like,
I mean,
how big of a project is that? Because I'm imagining bulldozers coming in.
No, you
I'm
are.
imagining hard hats. I'm imagining.
No, they are, and they're coming in. They're actually what they do. If the soil isn't bad enough, and I wish I had a better term than bad enough, but if the soil isn't bad enough, they can just aerate it.
Just
like they
jacked.
They can aerate the stuff. They just go in with like
really?
a tiller and they can aerate the soil.
Oh, that's
and,
clever.
And let it vaporize. Let it evaporate. But if it's bad, they have to remove all the soil and bring in new soil. So you're talking, you dig down however far down. I mean, it could be 10 feet down. They have to excavate that 10 feet of 20-acre soil. I mean, imagine Alpine. I mean, our property up in Alpine, right? We got 40 acres. You imagine going down 10 feet on 40 acres, and you got to bring in new soil there. So,
well, the good news is we got the basement dug.
Yeah, man. Yeah. God. So that's really, I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million to clean up a site. That's just to get started on the construction. So, it's it's interesting stuff, man. I mean, from that standpoint, I find it to be really interesting.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like when you drive by these large tracts of land that are just sitting there,
I know,
doing nothing, not even growing grass.
It's like,
it's
like what's going on there? It can't even grow weeds there.
You're wondering, you can't put some cows on there. I mean, what the heck? Grass won't grow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the dead of summer, there's always some kind of mutant weed that grows in Arizona, you know.
And when you see a site just sitting there with nothing on there, come on, man,
it might as well be glowing. I guess.
Yeah.
So something there. It's not growing for a reason, huh? I didn't even think about that. Wow.
Yeah. So that's like honestly that's like the gist of what we do. We do. And that's where you kind of mentioned, like in the beginning, it's like a little mold policy. I mean, I could get a contractor that's going, let's say a contractor that's $2 million a year, plumber.
Right.
I mean, I can get him a mold policy for $1,500. You talk a big home developer out here who purchases a 20-acre lot. And he wants pollution insurance in case he starts digging down there and finds some crap that he didn't think about. Now you're talking, $100,000. I mean, so you're talking a lot more premium because the exposure, the risk is just, 100-fold at that point. So, yeah.
Insurance is a crazy game.
I
used to work for a restoration guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We do a ton of the restoration guys.
I used to talk to insurance adjusters all the time. I was the money collector.
Dude,
I was such an asshole.
Man, I'm telling you, restoration guys, man, it's that's a big world right there.
Man. It's a lot of money, man.
There's a lot of money in there.
They would do that Category 3 flood stuff sometimes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
just the nastiest. As I'm sitting here drinking a chocolate protein shake. Category 3 is like, Category 1 is like your washer or dryer line goes out and it's all clear water that floods your house. Category 2, a little more nasty. That's when the water's a little murky. They call it gray water.
Yeah.
Category 3 is just straight up shit water. I mean, there's no other way around it. There's fecal matter in the water, and it's brown. They call it brown water.
Oh, man.
And you get paid a lot of money to do those. And, I've done, I think, 4.
So are there restoration companies that stay away from Category 3?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Okay, so
most
they'll
of them
advertise.
will,
So they'll advertise like I only do Category 1
no,
or 2.
they'll talk to their guy like the way, like there's different ways you can market your restoration companies, but like we would go off leads.
Really?
We wouldn't get leads from any insurance people because you insurance fellas over there, you want us to drop the prices if you give us the leads.
Hey, man.
So we would politely tell you to go F yourselves when you would say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people that would give us our leads, we tell them like, "Hey, man, we're not going to do any dark water." Yeah.
Oh man, dark water. That's
so nope.
That's
we did
funny,
for a
man.
while, and like after a while, he was like, It's just not worth it for you guys to like, and I mean for him too, because he wasn't one of those owners that just sat back. Like he was out there rolling his sleeves up with us and doing the work. It's
a crappy job, man.
Quite literally. Yeah. And it's just, man, like, because you're sitting, you're packing out every thing that they own, everything on the ground, like everything in the house, and like you don't think about like, well, everything that's in my dresser doesn't need to go, but if your dresser's sitting in half an inch of water, no matter, even if it's just category 1 water, and your dresser's got to go out, well, where are you going to put everything that was in that dresser? Well, that's got to come out too. So basically, if it's sitting on the ground, or if it's in something that's sitting on the ground, it's got to go out.
You're taking it out, man.
They get paid by the box. And everything is done off Xactimate.
That's crazy.
And it's a crazy industry, man. There's a price to remove a door with 4 hinges.
My gosh.
There's another price to remove a door with 3 hinges. It's nuts.
Will you imagine what's going on in Texas and Florida
right
now?
Not yet, not yet, but it will be.
It will be. Yeah.
Right now they're doing the cleanup.
I mean that those restoration companies. We have people coming in.
Big money.
Like I'll get calls. In fact, I just got 2 the other day that said, "Hey, this guy that you wrote for me a couple months ago up in Oregon."
Yeah.
He wants to fly down to Texas now, or this guy up in where was it, Montana or something like that. He was doing restoration work up there. The agent calls me up and says, "Hey, our application mentioned he only is going to do work in whatever Illinois or Montana, whatever it was, but he's going down to Texas now." And so I mean, they're flying in people from all around the world to do this stuff.
Yeah, there's an HBO show that covers that.
Really?
Called Treme, spelled Treme. It covers life in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I almost said it like a honky.
Don't do that, man.
Not in New Orleans. No, it covers life in New Orleans and before and after during Katrina.
Yeah.
And there's a restoration guy that comes down from I think New York.
Yeah.
And he's giving all the local guys work, and they're like, "I don't even know you, dude. Like, where's this all coming from?" I know. And he's just like, "Dude, just be thankful. It's Thanksgiving."
I know, man. I know.
So, but yeah, it's kind of an interesting aspect that I'm glad that they threw in there, because when I came across it, I was doing the restoration bit at the time.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, you go down Xactimate and there's just thousands of line items.
I know.
There's you get paid to remove a laminate off some shelves or a slab of granite. It's a different different price.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I remember. I don't know if you remember the Alpine house flooding. The basement flooded down there up there.
The new one?
Yeah.
No.
Within the first year we built it, it flooded.
Wow.
And so I remember going through that with my dad. It was no, you're right, line by line.
Yeah.
I mean, it was baseboard.
At least
color on the baseboard.
At least it was the basement.
Yeah. It was crazy though, man. It was.
Bro, I've done pack outs with houses that were like, Gilbert houses, but like North Gilbert, old farmhouses with basements.
Yeah.
And they're like hoarders with like just nice, like, like it was a 3,000 square foot brick basement Gilbert home. These are people with horses and cowboy pulling out antique leather saddles and antique rifle. Like, it was just kind of like all kinds of stuff you wouldn't want to get flooded out.
It's crazy, man.
It was the upper rooms too, and it dripped down into the basement. We had to flood out so much, man.
Really?
Like, everything settled in the basement. The entire basement got flooded out.
Really?
And it like, you'd go down those stairs and the humidity just hit you like it just sucked. Yeah, just crazy, man.
That is,
like,
man.
You'd be surprised how many boxes
it's crazy, man.
a room fills up, man. It's nuts.
I imagine it's pretty quick. I imagine that's
pack out's where all your money is in restoration. Yeah, well, the most money for the least amount of hassle.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, it's a bitch pulling that stuff out of there. But once you're done.
Yeah.
You bust it out 5-6 hours, you're done.
Yeah.
And then you get paid on the storage every month.
Yeah.
Per square foot.
Yeah.
The second most money for the second least amount of work is the pullout.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And then the putback's just the least amount of money
the build back
for the biggest amount of work.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like restoration companies will sell those leads to other contractors and be like, yeah, if you handle this, like.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's what we see a lot of, subcontracted work on stuff like that. So you see, like on the app, they'll fill out, the tear out. The tear out or the pack out, and we call it the demolition. So you got your demolition.
We call it the pull out.
Yeah. And then you'll see them subcontract out like the build back. What we call like the build back work.
Yeah.
So, and then there's some contractors that specialize just in that build back work, or so.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, man.
My job was, of course, I'd run the crew. Because you get that call. And we'd advertise an hour response time from anywhere in the valley.
Really?
Oh, yeah, and 24 hours. Yeah, hour response time.
You get calls in the middle of the night?
I never did, but
really?
They have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like all the time where it was like 5:30 though.
Really?
And you go home and like, nope, sorry, we're working till 10.
It's fun stuff, man.
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, but yeah, you get there, you talk to the homeowner.
Yeah.
And the thing is homeowners are so stressed out. Everything that they have is jacked.
Yep.
They're super stressed out. They don't know who to trust. So a lot of times they do the worst possible thing. Yeah. They call you.
Yeah.
They call the insurance company.
Yeah.
And so we're like, we get there hopefully before the insurance company.
Yeah.
If the insurance company's already there, then if the insurance company's already been called, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like, it just means there's going to be an argument later. But like, if we get there before they've called anybody, we're like, listen, this insurance company's not your friend. Yeah. Sorry, bud. That's what we tell them.
No, and that's homeowners insurance, man. We don't deal with that stuff,
okay.
Man. We're
yeah, you're the good guys. That's right. You guys
insure you, man.
That's right. You guys are different, aren't you? Yeah.
We insure you in case you suck at what you do, man.
Yeah. You guys aren't normal vampires. You like are the vegetarian vampires from Twilight.
We don't do that homeowners crap, man.
Hospitable, shiny vampires that you take home to meet your parents.
Yeah, man. We don't do that homeowners. No, man. We're
but we straight up be like, hey, dude, these homeowners are not your friends.
Yeah.
And really they're not, because they're gonna skip on everything. They're gonna try to nickel and dime it. And so we would just approach it as, you sign this line, we start moving stuff out of your house, and we're fighting for you.
Yeah.
And that's totally what we do. I would get in arguments all the time with insurance adjusters. They'd call me and be like, you didn't call me. I'd be like, why the hell do I have to call you? You pay the policy? You pay the bill on this insurance?
Yeah.
No, I don't have to call you. I talk to the homeowner.
Right.
And they'd be like, but I don't know if it needs a pack out. I'm like, dude, I'm standing in 2 inches of water.
Yeah.
They need a pack out.
Yeah.
Like, you want me to FaceTime you? I'll do it.
Yeah.
But like, they what they want to do is they want to send their plumber and their boy, because that guy will either give them a kickback, or the restoration company will lower the rates, makes them look good, makes they're playing the hero. But we would just be like, no, dude, shut up. No, dude. So once they've signed it and we've started like taking property and putting it in the truck, a lot of times like other restoration or people would show up and be like, nah, dude, sorry, you gotta go.
Once you guys are in the door and have their signature,
once that signature's done, and
because then you guys do your job and then you work with the insurance company. It's like you get in a car accident, don't.
Well, what we would do is we would pull everything out of the house. We're not just moving, we're packing and moving. So like, we're going through everything, and we're like, hey, listen, if there's anything you don't want us to see, or anything you don't want us to put into storage, now's the time to go grab it. Because
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what happens to all the stuff that is water damaged? And do you guys get to keep that, or does the homeowner get to keep that?
We go through all that. So
but do you guys get to keep the water damaged stuff and try and restore it or something? Or?
A lot of times we just give it to like Goodwill.
Really?
It's a tax write-off, But sometimes they'll just keep it. It's sitting around a warehouse, or it's sold at a garage sale or whatever. Sometimes you try to fix it if you can, but it has to be really lightly damaged.
Yeah. Did you ever find some cool stuff?
Oh, all the time, man. It's just, stuff that you could never sell, like at a resale thing, or like, like it's got
Yeah.
it's got some scars on it. But,
Yeah.
oh yeah, man, like
That's cool.
yeah, for
That's
sure.
cool.
There's stuff you come up on all the time.
Hell yeah, man. That's cool.
Yeah, but so yeah, we pull everything out.
Yeah.
Packing it as we go. You unpack, you pack everything, then you pull all the furniture out.
Yeah.
I got great at taking apart beds, man.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude. I take those things so fast. Great at like going through like drawers and just pack.
Yeah.
Like we like army ants. Our crew would demolish a 3-bedroom house.
in a matter of hours. It sounds like.
Oh, just 2 people are just packing. The rest 2 people are just hoofing boxes.
Well, you guys are working at 5:30 in the afternoon. You want to go home, man?
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
going fast.
For sure, yeah. So we take everything back to the warehouse. From there, we say this is what time we had the claim. This is how many people we had on the site. This is how many man hours we had. This is how many boxes we had. This is how much furniture we had. This is how many rooms were damaged. You go through and before you take anything out, you go through with like a video camera. And just to see what was where. And make sure that they really had the Mona Lisa in there. Because you stole it. Right. But yeah, we take everything back to the warehouse, and we put together a claim, fax it all in to the insurance adjuster, and then on that, I would staple it and just write on the time I faxed it and the date, and the number I sent it to and the insurance adjuster's name, and exactly 7 days later, I'd call him and be like, "Hey, how's it going, man? This is Jesse with whatever company I was with, and cool. How are you doing? Good, cool." Right into the this is what I did. I sent this fax to this number at this time. I don't have a check. What do I got to do to get paid? And a lot of half the time they'd be like, well, okay, cool, I'll send it out. And I'd be like, okay, put our name on that, not the customer's name, because they'll give it to the customer's name, and all of a sudden the customer on a big house, like some $70,000 checks, like to the pack out companies, and the customer's like, wait, what did you do? You moved and stored our stuff, and they think they're entitled to it, and so sometimes it can be a hassle.
I imagine. I imagine,
because they paid that insurance, they think they're going to get that money back, and it's like no. Like you had people do a service, that money's theirs, so you can lock horns over it, but like ultimately your ace in the hole, your final recourse is putting a lien on someone's house. And if you're facing a $70,000 lien, like that's real. So, but yeah, so they'd send the check out, and then every 6 months we'd be like, depending on how long the putback takes,
Did you guys ever get called back after you finished the job to say, hey, look, you guys didn't do something correctly, or you didn't?
There was one case where this guy had these doors, and these doors were like, this guy was like Jay Peterman from Seinfeld, He's like, these doors, they were part of a Buddhist temple. Seriously, like these doors had been like part of the wall of a Buddhist temple in like some Asian country.
Oh God!
And, like irreplaceable. Like look, these doors have water on them. You can't fix these doors. They're they're priceless, Elaine. So we're like, okay, what do you want us to do? So like we got in trouble with that. Plus he said that there was one customer who had all this random stuff from when he'd traveled. And those are the worst kinds, because like how do you value it? How do you put value on a Kachina doll that's carved from a solid piece of ivory?
Well, and then and then they have emotional value to it,
right? And
sentimental value. It's like, okay, we're not going to pay for that. We're paying for how much the damn thing's worth. So.
I'm sorry that your grandmother gave this to you when you were 5, but you shouldn't have had it under the couch, in the basement. So I know it was wrapped up, but so there's a lot of that going on. Man. But so. With restoration companies, you get paid 3 times. You get paid for the pack out. You get paid for the
actual work, like the
restoration work, the takeout, and then you get paid for the putback.
Yeah.
So, but even on pack outs, you get paid a couple different times. Because you got the pack back.
Yeah.
So you got the pack out, you get paid for. You get all the storage, you get paid for.
Yeah.
And you got the pack back.
Yeah.
Which sometimes it's great, but sometimes those people aren't very happy with the whole situation in general,
Yeah.
'cause
See, so that's kind of where I insure you guys, the restoration company, in case that homeowner comes in and says,
Right.
man, you guys sucked, man.
Right,
Like, you
right.
guys didn't put this wall back right. You guys damaged my property when it was in storage. That's what we provide.
There's a
coverage
huge
for,
case
so.
going on right now with a contractor that was doing showers.
Yeah.
And when I worked for Apache Glass as a glazer,
Yeah.
this guy just didn't know what he was doing. And he was a rich kid.
Yeah.
And he would, when you have a shower, the lips got to slope back in so
Yeah.
the water runs back in, and he would just lay them flat or slope them out.
Man.
And people's whole bathrooms and
Yeah.
closets would not flood bad, but like there'd be enough water to
Yeah.
where like making mildew smells and
No,
things like that. And,
that's literally to a T. And that's exactexactly what we provide the coverage for, man.
Right.
It's like
So,
crap like that.
well,
Like,
well,
we
this
do a lot of
guy's
glaciers.
guy's probably going to jail. because he had something like, I want to say like 50 complaints with the ROC.
Oh my god, man!
Within like 3 years,
God.
which is like if you get 3 in a year, that's bad.
Yeah,
like
it is.
like I think.
If you get one in it, come on, man.
Like if you get 3 in a year, I think you're shut down.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I know like
Scott,
3 in a year is like
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Bad. Like it's like, what are you trying to do to yourself?
Yeah.
Type. 1 in a
man.
year is bad. Like to take it all the way to the ROC because the customer's gotten that mad
Yeah.
to where they're done dealing with you.
Yeah. It's like you're not just posting it on social media now. Now
Yeah,
you're like,
it's not a bad Yelp review.
yeah.
Yelp.
Yeah, man.
I had a roommate that was a bouncer at Wasted Grain in Scottsdale.
Really?
And he kicked a guy out one night. And this guy was so drunk. And he's like, I'm going to give you guys a bad Yelp review. And they're like, oh, okay, dude. All right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And the guy got so mad because they were making fun of him. He's like, what? You don't think Yelp matters? You don't think Yelp matters? I'm like, there's like, okay, dude, like go ahead and
like
walk.
a T-shirt. Yelp manners.
The guy's walking away like, yeah, like yelling. Like, it's pretty funny.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we got 40 acres. I thought it was 42 in Alpine.
Yeah, I think it's 40, man.
40.
Yeah,
You'd know better than I would.
I've been looking at, man. I've had to deal with all that crap since last year. It's been a lot, man. It's beautiful land, though, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's worth the struggle,
else, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told this story on here before, but growing up with Alpine, I assumed that that's what a cabin was. A cabin was something that was gifted to you through the generations, that was settled and homesteaded and was probably surrounded with at least 40 acres of wilderness, and I got invited to a cabin when I was like maybe 12, 13, and we pulled into a neighborhood in like Sholo or somewhere, and I was like, what? This is a house.
I know, man.
We had it good. Like we still have it good.
No, we still do.
We have it better. The cabin's even nicer now.
So it's a little bit of a drive, but I'll tell you, man. I tell people, it's like just do it once, man. Like
that's the thing.
I'm like, do it once.
It's a 4.5 hour drive.
It's broken up, man. You go from here to Payson to Heber to Sholo to Springerville. Like it's like broken up. Like here to Cali, you can go from here to Cali.
Right.
There ain't nothing in between there, man.
Wait. There's nothing between here and Cali?
Let's not...
Except for the General George S. Patton Museum that I stop at every single time I go to Cali.
Is that the one with the big-ass green dinosaur? The green
It's
T-Rex?
one with like 14 tanks in the front yard, dude.
Right,
like, you got to go check it out, man.
I didn't know there was one with the T-Rex on the outside, man.
I don't know. There might be a T-Rex.
There's this
one
spot that has like it's lined with like palm trees on the right-hand side going out to LA.
It might be
like, what the hell, man?
It might be it. There's like a little restaurant there that's never open, a couple buildings, and then there's the Patton Museum, and there's a fence around it. I don't think the Patton Museum is ever open, but I always stop and to check out the tanks and pretend I'm General Patton.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Alpine's way different than that, man. It's 4-hour drive, man.
True,
If
and you've got the scenery that changes. You go from the lowland desert to the high desert to the pines, back down to the high desert, and
to what looks like
pines.
to what looks like the Great Plains or something, man.
Yeah,
like outside Springerville, it's like
great grazing land.
Yeah, man, it's just like hills and valleys and stuff, man. But it's gorgeous up there, man.
That little area is deceptive.
We're lucky
because it's right just below the timberline. You know, and so you think like, oh, we're not even close. The landscape hasn't even changed, but the landscape changes, then boom, you're right in Alpine.
It's funny, man. I would take groups of friends up there, and they would say that. I said, man, damn, we've been driving for 4 hours, man. What the hell, dude? It's like, I thought we're gonna be in the mountains. I was like, just wait, just chill, man.
Just wait, just calm down.
And then like literally like 5 minutes before you get to the place, it just goes from like this janky looking hills to
once you hit New Triosa,
cool,
though, man, that's when you got to stay alert. That's elk country, man.
It's cool. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah,
bro. I almost hit 2 elk, not the last time, maybe it was 3 times ago.
Yeah,
but they were close enough on my truck to where I couldn't see their bellies.
Yeah,
like that's how close they were. Like I could see its back, and I could see halfway down.
Yeah,
and then it was 10 feet?
Yeah.
And I'm going like 60, like 2 of them. And the,
man, I don't. Man, I remember my dad. I think I told the story at my dad's funeral, but he I remember back when I was like 11 years old, man. We had it was a couple of years, maybe a year or 2 after my parents divorced, and my dad, his best friend, built him a 1985 Trans Am, Firebird Trans Am. It was this cherry red, man. It was.
I remember.
Gorgeous, man. That thing was gorgeous. My dad thought, what the hell, man? We'll go visit your sister up in Utah on this thing. So, me, Jeff, my little brother, and my dad getting this damn thing and leave early in the morning, man. We're outside Flagstaff, man, and cruising down on the highway, 70 miles an hour. I'm in the front seat, Jeff's in the back. See this elk. We're on a like 4-lane highway, but 2 lanes, for us going, and we see this elk, man. It's like standing. So it's standing in the left lane. My dad moves over to the right lane. This elk moves over to the right lane. My dad starts to slow down. The elk kind of goes back, and my dad's like, okay, cool, the elk's going back, So my dad starts to speed up to get past him.
Uh-oh.
Last minute, dude, that thing jumps right in front of us, and that thing goes flying over us. I mean, dude, this thing was, so our car was basically like totaled, but it still ran. But I remember this trucker stopped right behind us, took out a shotgun right there, shot the thing, because, I mean, we hit this thing probably going, when I was 11, it felt like we were probably going 70, but I imagine we were probably going like 50, somewhere in there. I mean, we nailed this thing, dude, in a Firebird Trans Am, dude. Yeah. And so the guy shoots it. My dad is kind of like on a Ace Ventura, how he's like looking out the window, like the windshield's like
that's
busted.
Awesome.
I just imagine. I just look back at my dad's probably looking out the window trying to drive. But I just remember it was busted, but he's like, we're gonna keep going. So we keep going, man. My dad gets
carry on
right outside. I think it was the border of like Nevada or something like that. I can't remember. We're going up to Utah, but it was he gets a speeding ticket, man. Oh, right outside Page, I think it was. Gets a speeding ticket, man. So my dad's like, what the hell, man? So goes, we stop at the court, we pay the ticket that day. Going up there, we get up there to see Nikki. We're all in the car. Like same night, dude, this little deer jumps out in front of us, and my dad busts out in the front right headlight. I mean, it was. I'm telling you, man, that was quite the journey.
It's like you guys had a sign on you, hit me.
Yeah, man. So it was that's kind of my story with elk and deer and
Jill almost hit a bear last time we went.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It was creeping out.
It's pretty rare to see. I mean, not rare, but like
you don't see them that
bear
often.
Is pretty badass, but to almost hit one,
come across the road.
Yeah.
I've never seen one on the road. Ever.
I've seen it a couple times. I've seen a bear up there, like not on the highway.
Yeah,
road,
I've never
like
seen one on the highway.
On that big lake road, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Well,
there was that
highway.
one. There
cool,
was
man.
that one that I chased up the tree that one year on the ATC.
Oh, that was
right
over
off
Bob
the big.
and George's.
Yeah, right off the big.
That was like
our
family reunion or something. That was cool, man.
It's 20 feet off the big lake road.
Yeah.
When I got all the cousins, come check out this bear. It's up in a tree.
That was cool, man. I remember that.
Yeah. No, but yeah, we're driving up and Jill didn't even see it.
That's
and
crazy,
it's
man.
creeping out across, coming from the left.
Wow.
And I just start going, bear, 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 bear. And
Cool.
it just kind of crept out. And if Jill hadn't stopped, Jill would have nailed it.
Man.
So, I mean, it just, or if she hadn't slowed down.
Yeah.
But it was a good, it was one of the bigger bears I've
Really?
seen.
That's
Yeah,
cool, man.
it was bigger than the bear that Wayne shot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
So-
man.
But yeah, it was crazy. It was all black with like a cinnamon belly. It was kind of
cool,
cool
man.
looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
cool.
it wouldn't have been a good rug, but it would have been a cool bear mount, like a full mount. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, a lot of elk up there, a lot of deer.
Yeah.
My parents said they saw a lot of deer this last time.
There was, man. I saw a little fox up there last time.
Really? A little fox?
Seen some turkey up there.
I
and
see turkey all the time
love
up there,
that,
man.
It's fun, man. It's fun. It's coyotes all the time.
Yeah,
Coyotes all over,
little
man.
bastard animals that
Yeah,
they
man.
are. I'm still bitter that they killed my dog up
I
there.
remember that, man.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, she's buried up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we're really lucky because the fire burned up right next to our land within how many feet within
I mean,
on the-
it
on
came
the
up
west
on the
side.
back property in there. It
Yeah.
came up on that wall of fire came up on that back property, and the fire department had to come on, and they bulldozed through our fence, and
so it did
without-
singe our
It
land.
did. It
just
singed
that-
a little bit on the back there. Not
but you
bad. I
can't
think
see it through the trees.
Yeah.
though.
No, you can't see it through the trees. But I mean, what's kind of cool in my opinion is like they bulldozed. They didn't ask it. I mean, obviously when the
Yeah.
fire department,
Yeah.
it was like that. They just bulldozed through our fence.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they were fighting the fire from our property, so that was pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
That was when we just on the house we just had the foundation poured, so we were pretty lucky. But I remember
Yeah.
your parents' place down there. It was before they had built, though. It was before they had
Yeah.
built, but we kept looking because we kept hearing this. I'll check the news like hour, dude, and we heard. They said in Alpine, on the outskirts of town, there was an old trailer that had burned down, and we thought it was your parents. Like I remember calling my dad hourly, dude. Like I think that's Aunt Vicky's. Like I think that's Aunt Vicky. Like we were like, I mean we were, because no one knew what was going on. No one.
And it was in a panic, of course you'd
Oh,
think,
it
because
was,
we're
man.
so close to town.
Yeah.
But then when you get there and when you get from the Big Lake Road and you drive into town, it's like, yeah, we're really not quite on the outskirts. We're out pretty far.
Yeah, I mean it's
You know,
we're
like-
back in there, man. We're like I said,
Yeah.
dude, it's kind of like what you said. You go to some cabins or something, and you're
Yeah,
in a
we've got-
neighborhood, man. We're back up in there.
We've got 40 acres of solitude. And then our closest neighbor is Uncle Kenneth,
Yeah.
who's got another, 40 acres,
He's got
50
40.
acres.
Bob's got 40.
Yeah,
I think Aunt B has 10 now.
yeah.
She's sold off like 30, and so it's cool, man.
So, yeah, but there's big chunks of land. So,
Cool.
I mean, and these neighbors are
yeah.
100 yards away, 200 yards away.
Yeah.
Bob and Georgie are 200 yards away. Kenneth's at least 100 yards.
Yeah. No, they're back
through,
there.
through a forest.
Chapachi's behind us there. And
Yeah.
they're 40 acres behind us there. So it's
Yeah.
cool, man. We're
There's a lot.
lucky, man.
It's a lot. It's a big, cool
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
We need to get up there with a drone. Get some drone footage of
My
the spot.
friend's dad brought one up there last time, and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen, man.
Yeah.
Like no joke, man. It was
Yeah.
the coolest thing I've seen.
Yeah, no, we need to get a lot more footage of that because
Yeah.
it's on Airbnb, isn't it now?
It's going up, man.
Yeah.
It's going up. So we're looking for that, man.
Yeah.
I'll
Absolutely.
be sending out that
We'll
link
make a
soon.
video. We'll make a video and put it on my
Yeah, man.
channel.
No,
We'll-
for sure,
we'll talk
man.
about it. Yeah.
It's going up. It's gonna go on. I think like Home Away or VRBO or whatever. It's
Yeah.
something like that. And
Yeah.
no, it's going up. We're gonna.
Cabin is sick, man. Like,
Something
your
else, man.
dad
My
did
dad-
a great job with it.
It's incredible, man. We were just up there over the Labor Day weekend and staying the whole deck, and man, it looks it's
Yeah,
gorgeous,
that
man.
deck it's 3/4 of a
Man,
wraparound.
Yeah.
And the bottom facing south.
Yeah.
Like you've got a full deck on
Yeah.
the bottom.
It's a
And then you go-
4,500 square foot house.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's amazing, man.
And then you've got like a little basketball game in the bottom, a
Yeah,
pool table in the
yeah.
bottom. You got a kitchen downstairs, so it's made to entertain.
Yeah, no,
Like it's
it
an
is, man.
entertainment house.
It is.
Like
Like some cabins are just little cottage cabins. This is like an entertainment. Like this is where you go with like your 50 cousins.
I know.
And your your 10 uncles and aunts.
I know. I got my girlfriend's coworker was like, oh, me and my girlfriend want to go up there, and I was like, that's totally fine. It's just it's a lot of house.
It's a lot of house.
To go,
Yeah, for 2 people.
I'm trying to cut them a deal and stuff to go up there, but I'm like,
it's a lot of house.
It's a lot of house
well, and that's
people.
the thing is, it's like we pay when we go up now.
Yeah.
It's well, here's what happened. Let's give a little backstory on that.
Yeah.
We had a double wide trailer up there for how many years?
Since the 70s.
Yeah, we loved this trailer. We didn't care that in the middle of the night you had to put your coat on to go to the bathroom. We didn't care that when you walked from one end of the hallway to the other, you sunk down and the whole trailer rocked a little bit. We didn't care that you couldn't drink the water out of the taps.
You didn't care that your bath made you smell worse than before you
got there. There was a funk to the
weird
water.
Stench because we're on a well, man. It was
like the wells and not all the wells in the White Mountains are created equal.
Yeah.
And we did not get a good one for that original house.
And everyone was just throwing down a sleeping bag. We turn on the stove, throw some fire on the stove.
We'd watch Johnny Carson and Ricky Tikki Tavi. So we loved this thing forever. And Ryan's dad, my Uncle Jim, my mom's brother, had brought this up back in the 70s. And
no, it was a grandpa.
Was it Grandpa?
Yeah, Grandpa
I always thought it was your dad.
No, it was Grandpa.
Wow.
There was pictures of him. I think there was a picture of him doing it.
Your dad had to have been present.
He must have been present.
Yeah.
He must have been. But no, it was all Grandpa, man. It was crazy, man. I mean, I remember telling me a story of trying to get around that bend, around that creek bend. And I mean, you're talking, it was like 80 foot. I think it was officially 84 feet.
It was a big trailer. I mean, it was old and busted, but it was big.
Yeah, it was. And then he built a little roof over it. I mean,
they did a little patio in front of it. Made it as comfortable as we could. So we love that. And Uncle Jim came up. Nobody else would brave the winter months except for you guys.
Man,
you, your brothers, and your dad would snowshoe in.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like I don't think it's like a death march coming or anything, but it's a pretty good little hike in snowshoes if you're not used to it.
Half mile, something like that.
So, but so you guys would come in like the Smiths. We're not quite Taiwiwi nobles, but we're not winter Alpine nobles. The Wrights. The Wrights are Taiwiwi Lodge nobles. They don't stay in the tent.
Yeah.
They stay at Taiwiwi Lodge. We'd stay in the tent like the Smiths, but we don't come. We come when the weather's good.
Right, man.
The nobles, year round.
Oh, man.
Rain or shine or snow, doesn't matter.
Oh, man.
So, in one time, Uncle Jim comes in. I don't know if he was by himself or if he had you guys with him, and the snow had caved in the roof of this double wide.
That was me. I remember I went up there. I found it up
you?
there.
You had discovered it?
I discovered. I went up there with some friends. And I remember getting up there and calling my dad and say, "Oh shit!" Like the master bedroom had caved in. I was like, "Dad, this place, we're done."
Yeah, it's game over. Did you guys still stay?
We stayed.
Attaboy, I would have stayed in the front room.
Because I remember that one. We had to park. I was with a group of my friend had brought some people from church, some like singers from church, right?
Yeah.
So we had probably 10 people up there, but we had this one girl that was a little bigger, and we got there at like 1 a.m. on Friday night, and dude, I'm telling you, man, that was the hardest march I've ever had to endure, because I had people asking if I knew where the hell I was because it was pitch black. I knew exactly where I was.
Yeah, like
they didn't know because the snow was just flat, like, and you can't see anything. So
right,
everyone's like, "Do you know where you are? Do you know where you are?"
Yeah, dude, I've only done this a million times. Yeah,
and this bigger girl, man, that just went walking on the snow for someone who's in shape and fit and everything. I mean, it's hard as hell, man.
Snow hiking is hard.
Falling every other step.
Oh, that poor girl, man, that sucks.
It took. I remember we had a guy who threw her bag and a cooler on top of his shoulders and just, I mean, he's in the Marines and he just marched in, dude.
Probably cut down a tree and put that on the other shoulder.
Incredible, man. And then it took her like 2 hours to get like a quarter mile. It was hell, man. It was hell.
That's rough.
And then we got in there, and then we were like, oh my god, man, it caved in, and so I just remember that was hell, man. And I got the next morning and shoveled the whole path because I felt so bad, man. I felt so bad. So that was the last winter of that place, and then the next summer. We went, took it down, we burned it, we buried the rest out in the meadow. I remember we rented a big old backhoe, dug a big ass hole out there in the meadow, and we dug all the metal parts and stuff, and you can't even notice it now.
No, I mean, it's all
crazy.
grown over.
And then we almost burned down the forest because we burned the I know, but man, it was yeah, and then we started planning that house, man. That was fun, man.
Yeah,
that was something else, dude.
So well, the property has been in our family for 3 or 4 generations. We took a loan out to build, or the family essentially took a loan out to build this new cabin, and so that's why we're putting it on Airbnb. We're putting it up for rent so people can stay on there just to cover the mortgage. So it's a legacy property, but the cabin's brand new.
Yeah, it's something else, man. I definitely recommend.
Oh yeah, man.
I mean, it's
yeah, and I've if you want to check it out, I've put Instagram pictures on Instagram. You can go to #TheNobleRanch, NOBLE, and
we'll get something up. I'll have to let you know when we put it up on the.
Well, no, my cousin Preston has a drone.
Oh yeah,
and we'll bring him up one of these weekends. Be like, hey, dude, you can come up with us. And take some footage.
It'd be cool, man. It's something else, man. So.
But yeah, there's zip line and everything right now.
Yeah, we got a tire swing, got the playhouse for the kids.
Yeah,
got the fire pit.
There's a little ramada, so you can have. The ramada fits 30 people.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Yeah,
down by the fire pit.
Yeah, I got a grill, little outdoor kitchen, or not kitchen, but a little sink.
Yeah, a little
there.
Outdoor grill. Yeah, a little.
So it's man, it's legit, man.
Yeah, it's a cool spot, man, and like I said, the fire came up pretty close, but where we're at, like where our cabin is, we're in I hesitate to call it a valley, but what else would you, just because it's so shallow, but what else would you call it rather than just like a little crease? And so we're down probably just 50 feet from where, like, if we were 50 feet higher, then the view wouldn't be what it is, but since we're a little lower in that little crest area, the views are perfect from where we're at, man. Like, you can't tell anything. So
you got like the picture perfect of Gobbler's Peak there. It's,
now if you look at Gobbler's still looks scorched. Like it makes me so mad, because if the environmentalists wouldn't throw a big fit, and if they'd let people, if they'd let the Forest Service thin the land.
Well, if you drive from Sholo to Globe, that's Indian Reservation right there. You can see tree lines. Like, you could see. Take a look at that between Sholo and Globe. Take a look at that forest versus the forest up by our place. Yeah. And you can't see more than 5 feet into the forest because you have 50 trees within a 10 feet radius. Right. You go to the reservation land, you can see. I mean, it's gorgeous, man. The underbrush is all taken care of. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, when a fire hits, like when the trees haven't been thinned, that's when they can burn up, and they can burn from branch to branch to branch and cover trees super fast. But if they've been thinned, they can fight it on the ground. The fire stays on the ground. Yeah. And so that's the main thing why it spreads so fast. But it just, I mean, nature has a way of thinning the forest every couple hundred years. It's called a fire,
And from what I heard, like some of the locals in Alpine were saying that some of those environmentalists were saying, when they'd see those little fires, they would go put them out real quick, and they were saying those are natural fires. And so, I mean, it's just over the years, you just got this thick underbrush and this. Yeah. This is bad, man. It was bad.
Yeah, like those natural little fires, like, you're not always going to be there to put that out. Like, you've got to thin the forest.
They gave us a grant. It was like a $15,000 grant a couple years ago to go thin our land. And
Yeah, I remember there was a little bit of a controversy with that.
There was.
Yeah.
There was a little controversy over the contractor who was going to do it. But
yeah, like there was one guy, wasn't he local there?
Yeah, well, they were both local, but
were they both
one
local?
guy was beefing with the other guy, and so
Yeah,
my dad,
one guy wanted the bid, the other guy got it.
the other guy just came on and did it. Like it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was kind of the story I heard from my dad is that. So one guy approached my dad, and another guy who my dad wanted to kind of do the work approached my dad. He told my dad, that second guy told him, do not let the first guy do it. And before my dad knew it, and the first guy had already come on the property and started doing it. And,
Really?
yeah, something like that. I mean,
You'd know the story better than I.
It was something like that, and yeah.
The second guy said he was skimming your property pretty bare.
He was mad.
But it sounded like a little bit of sour grapes because the property is beautiful.
I mean, that's kind of what we figured afterwards.
Yeah,
and,
the property is beautiful. Like when I went up there, I'm like, come on, this is bare, really?
Yeah. No, it looks good. I mean, it's a little creek running through it, man.
I did notice it. Honestly, I didn't notice it had been thinned from sitting at the cabin. Like it just looks like the forest, right?
Yeah.
But what I did when I took the Razor out,
Yeah.
or the Polaris out,
Yeah.
driving through the forest, I was like, oh, I can drive through this forest.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you couldn't get an ATC
Yeah.
even through a lot of those
Yeah.
places. It was so tight.
Yeah.
There were so many logs and so many fallen trees.
Yeah.
And then just tight trees everywhere. There was certain like real snaky, sidewindy routes you had to go to get across the property. Whereas now with the Polaris, you can't just mob through because there's stumps, but like you can get anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, man.
So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
that's pretty awesome.
So
We're gonna have to get some footage taken and put it up online so people can check it out.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it's a big promotion for him, man. Because I can tell you, man, it's we're trying to get people, we're trying to get the place booked, and
for sure. Well, Alpine in general is just. There's a bunch of new restaurants that are coming out. Like Firefox is really nice.
Yeah, Firefox, Bear Wallow, the Lollipop Shop.
The Lollipop Shop.
Yeah, so
I always eat way too much saltwater taffy and Jelly Bellies when I go there.
It used to be really cool when we were kids. Like that place was legit, man. I think it was a little old lady who made the candy, and then she sold it to the place down the road, and it kind of commercialized it. But man, the place
it was better when we were little, but it's still pretty cool, man. Like if you like Jelly Bellies or saltwater taffy,
they do like chocolate dipped like pretzels now, and
the fudge is
potato
pretty
chips
good.
and fudge. I mean, they do some homemade stuff there though, but it's and they get a little bar in there, and it's something else, man.
Yeah, it's weird. They need a good coffee shop in that town.
Yeah, no, they certainly can use one. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, I'm not talking like a Dutch Brothers or a
Starbucks,
nothing like that. Like the
get,
people wouldn't like it. But if you got like a good, even like a 4-table coffee shop going on there, it would crush it. With some good coffee,
cool,
with a drive-through.
Maybe that's our business idea right there, man.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, I'll live up in Alpine, man. Let's do it.
Oh, I would love to live up in Alpine. Except for I need a good internet connection to do my podcast up there. It's tricky.
It's hard to get one up there, man. That's the hardest part.
It would cost a lot of money.
I don't even know. I mean, you'd have to get a lot of gigabytes. That's the only way to get true stuff. You have to do it by the gigabyte up there.
Dude, I tried to upload a video I made.
Yeah.
I have a video on my channel about public land.
Yeah.
Public land debate.
Yeah.
And I couldn't upload it in Alpine with my parents' internet. I had to wait till I came back into town. I was like, all right. I got to like 96%.
After like 10 hours. Yeah.
The next morning. And then like I started at like 7.
Yeah.
And then like the next morning, like at like 11, I'm like, I'm done. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll just do it in home in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. So it was the internet is an issue, But
we got cable up there, man.
I mean, you got cable and stuff.
If you don't be outside, you can watch some cable, man.
Oh yeah, we got Dish Network up there.
Watch the Diamondbacks game or something.
For sure, man.
Come on, man.
Watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah. It's a little GOT, man. Come on.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm here's the thing. I've watched a lot of HBO series.
Yeah.
Love them. Rome, awesome.
Yeah.
Deadwood, my favorite.
Yeah.
The Sopranos, come on, man. Boardwalk Empire.
The Wire.
That's
my favorite
great,
right there,
dude.
man.
It's great. The Wire's awesome.
I
may allegedly have had some wilder days in my youth.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, The Wire, quite helpful.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I believe
Yeah,
it, man.
yeah, it definitely made me a little more aware of
Yeah.
what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
If I needed to ever be aware with anything like that at all.
You mean
ever.
if you ever want to create like a little drug place that people
No,
just go do drugs?
no. Well, here's the thing, man. in the early aughts and in the teens,
Yeah.
the early teens,
Yeah.
buying weed got tricky.
Yeah.
It's still kind of
Yeah.
tricky. You know, you got
Yeah, I
really
hear you,
good
man.
really good at talking in code.
Yeah.
And you can flip in and out of code. With your familiar friends, you can flip in and out of code like nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, The Wire definitely is like, oh, that's how they do it. Okay.
It's legit, man.
Yeah.
It's legit.
So, but here's the thing with here's my beef with HBO. They haven't figured out how to end a series.
It's hard to argue that, man.
Yeah. Rome ending sucked.
Yeah.
Deadwood's ending sucked. The Sopranos, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
don't stop believing.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what people say about that ending, it's a shitty ending to a great series. Like,
Don't tell me about Game of Thrones, man, because I'm on season 5.
I'm not gonna say anything. It's
man.
not over yet. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna spoil anything. But
don't tell me, man.
well, here's the thing. Game of Thrones, I don't have high hopes for the ending because they've deviated so far from.
Oh,
the
have you not
original
watched
story.
it yet?
No, they're only halfway through. We got one more. Like
No,
the second half of this season's released in like.
Oh, they're doing the second half. I thought everyone on Twitter
only
keeps
six
saying
only
that.
only 6 episodes.
Yeah,
this
no,
season.
7.
7 episodes,
Yeah.
and the next season there's another 6 or so or 7
Really?
or something.
I thought this was.
Yeah. And
this
it's gonna
was
be
it.
like 18 months before they come out too.
Oh, man.
Like, but don't worry, George R.R. Martin probably still will not have The Winds
Yeah.
of Winter written by then.
Oh, man.
So, even though it was supposed to come out like 4 years ago,
Oh, man.
but he's famous for like putting it off like 8 times.
Yeah.
Like he'll be like, okay, guys, it's gonna come out on this date, and then like 3 months, he's like, guys, I'm sorry.
Oh, my
It's gonna
God.
come out on this date.
He's the one writing Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and then he'll be like on that next date, that second release date, he'll be like, guys, it's gonna come out on this date, I swear.
He's probably got too much money now.
And then he'll be like,
writing it.
and then he'll be like, you guys are gonna hate me. You guys are gonna hate
Yeah.
me. But like book 5, he put off like 3 or 4 times. Same with book 4.
Really?
No, book 4 not so much. Here's the thing: book 1 is
Yeah.
pretty much just like the series.
Yeah.
Book 2, pretty close.
Yeah.
Book 3 is the best out of all the 5
Really?
of the books so far. But and they dumb it down for the series, but they start to break.
Yeah.
Book 4 and book 5 were meant to be one book
Really?
that he wrote, but it was like 1,500 pages.
Yeah.
So he cut it in half. So book 4 is good. It's just that in book 5, it's all the characters and all the
Yeah.
plots that you're into, and then
Yeah.
book 4 is all the new plots and all the new characters.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, if I had been waiting for book 4 to come out, especially with the way he is,
Yeah.
like if he had put that release date off like 4 or 5 times, then book 4 came out,
Yeah.
I'd have been pissed. I'd have been like, I want book 5 now. Like, like Jon Snow's got 1 chapter in book 4. Arya Stark's not even mentioned. Bran's got like a chapter. The Lannisters have like 2 chapters, and the rest is all strangers.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like, what is this crap?
Yeah.
It's good for the story, and then when book 5 comes around, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, it makes sense. Okay,
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
it's okay. It's cool, I guess. But yeah, book 5 is pretty good. Book 5 is my second favorite.
Man, it's a good show, man. It's a good show.
Except for the Iron Islands and Dorne, the plots for those 2 in the show, those 2 plots get robbed.
Yeah, no, you don't hear much about the Iron Islands. Like,
They got some cool stuff going on in the books with the
Yeah.
Iron Islands and in Dorne.
yeah.
Yeah, the Sand Snakes are kind of whack.
They focus more just King's Landing, and now they're back to Winterfell right now.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, in the books, there's just so much going on because they
Yeah.
get into the folklore,
Oh, yeah.
and then they get into the religions, and they get into and really, book 1 starts out in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
It's 15 years after
Yeah.
16 years after Robert's
Oh,
rebellion.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
So,
Tell you, man, I didn't think I could hate anyone more than King Joffrey, and then
just wait.
now we're starting to see there's another character that we hate.
Ramsay.
Oh, yes.
Ramsay
Oh
Snow.
my gosh, man.
Just
He
wait.
is-
Just
he-
wait.
He is a a royal dick, dude.
Dude, he gets his though. Just wait.
Oh,
You'll love it. You'll love it.
You can't tell us too much.
I'm not gonna say anything. It's just
you
that
can't tell us too much.
The episode is called "The Battle of the Bastards."
Yeah.
And it is. I think I might be misspeaking, but I think it's the most decorated episode of television ever made. Like won the most awards, won the most. All the fight scenes are original. Like no scenes from any of those fights in that movie you'll see in any other movies.
I hear Game 7 had a $6 to $8 million per episode budget. That's incredible, man. That's incredible.
Yeah, well, they film it in like 4 countries, man. And
$6 to $8 million budget per episode, man.
That's
a lot of money, man.
Think about that, dude. 4 countries, okay, and each country has at least 2 or 3 locations.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got location managers and you've got crews on all those, and those people have to eat. Yeah, and they're going to be there for
horses,
a couple weeks, and like you've got wranglers for the horses, you've got wranglers for people. You know, like when a camera, like when there's a fight scene going on, like and there's people sitting there filming it, there's someone holding that cameraman behind him, throwing his arm out to make sure no one hits him, like make sure they don't step over a rock. You know,
it's crazy,
it just takes a lot of money to make a movie. You'll check out episode 9 on this with Kevin Lee. Yeah, he's a producer.
All right, man.
And it's kind of eye-opening. It's kind of cool,
man. That's cool.
He and I did a movie with him a couple years ago. Yeah, just
That's
a small independent flick.
Yeah, I gotta check it out, man.
It had Damian Clark in it, who is the voice of Cell in Dragon Ball Z.
Really?
Yeah, it had Doug Jones in it, who is the Silver Surfer. And he's also like Pan in Pan's Labyrinth. He's Abe Sapien in Hellboy.
That's cool.
It had Amarita Achara in it, who was in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. You know, when Viserys gets the gold poured on his head? Yeah. There's a Dothraki handmaiden who's translating what Khal Drogo's saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's her.
Oh, that's cool.
Her.
Yeah.
Sonia Markai is in it. She was in The Tudors, a HBO series. She was one of Catherine's handmaidens.
Okay.
A guy named Rick Macy was in it. He's a LDS Mormon actor.
Really?
In fact, have you seen The Testament?
Oh,
you know the it's the Book of Mormon movie.
Okay.
Where the guy's in South America. You know.
Okay. Oh.
He's the prophet that gets killed in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
That's cool, man.
But
cool.
he was in it, and then a couple of other actors, but it was stacked with talent. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
A guy named Jake Storman, who was in it.
Really?
Yeah, good guy.
That's cool, man.
Made a lot of good friends on it.
That's cool, man.
It was a lot of fun.
That's cool.
But check that out, episode 9. And kind of, because we talk about why they film, where they film.
Really?
And, yeah,
I'll check it out, man.
Incentives by the states and stuff.
That's cool.
But, right on, man. We'll have to get Kevin up to Alpine too.
Yeah.
And say like, all right, dude, we'll get up here, make some movies up here.
Make something cool up there, man. Yeah. So I want to see what you can come up with, man. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
It's solitude up there though, man. It's blue spruce. It's the White Mountains. It's ponderosa pines. It's quaking aspens. It's
like I said, man. It's home away from home, man. I don't know.
There's a little creek running through our place too.
Yeah.
When I tell people we have a creek running through our place, they automatically start asking about fishing, and I'm like, wait a second here. This is more like a drip.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a 6-inch. Not even. I don't even think how deep do you think that creek is?
Oh man,
2 inches.
Couple. It's just a little flowing creek.
Like 2 inches maybe. You know, it's like a spring.
Yeah, there's a couple areas that are a couple feet deep, but it's for the most part.
But there's never any flowing water. That's anything. Like those areas are deep because they hit the natural flow of the water hit a hole.
Yeah. No, you know? It's it's not deep at all. It's just a little flowing.
Yeah. So I tell them we got creek, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Calm down."
Yeah. Like you can step over it, like just naturally walking, and you can step over.
Yeah. It just gets tricky because the grass grows high, and so you're just as likely to step in it.
Or finding a snake.
A lot of little grass snakes running through that area. Water dogs and the pond across at Uncle Bob's.
Little frogs. It's fun.
What is a water dog?
Hell if I know, man.
Dude,
A water dog.
You remember those water dogs that were in that pond?
No, a water dog. Like a little gopher type thing, or
No, they're like it looks like a half frog, half fish.
really?
And we used to catch them in the pond at Uncle Bob's.
Really?
Maybe you were a little young.
Yeah, I don't remember those, man.
Yeah, the older
Water
cousins
dogs.
would do
That's
it.
Josh, man.
Me and Josh were probably at the youngest.
Yeah.
But Josh would catch them all the time. Josh would know what I'm talking
Man,
about.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him, man.
But yeah, I don't know what they're called in real life,
I
but
don't know, man.
water
That's
dogs.
cool.
Yeah, they're
We'll find those things again,
weird
man.
little things, man.
Just get a little link going on our property. That'd be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
We'd have to trench it out though. We'd have to dig like a 10,000 square foot, 15-foot hole.
My understanding is the Indians won't let us, man. That the Indians own that water, and they say, according to Uncle Wade, man, he says, the Indians would know if we took their water. Like if we built a lake, somehow they would know if we took their water. So probably not gonna happen. Don't ask.
Right.
Yeah, don't ask me, man. Hey, that's kind of what I hear.
Really?
Yeah. So
Why don't we just drill down there? It's the White Mountains. Why don't we just
man.
drill down and find another spring?
I'd love to,
You
man.
know,
That'd be
I
cool.
mean,
I'd love to.
You know,
That'd be cool, man.
Uncle Wayne says that the Indians would know. We've been to the head of that spring, right?
I mean, the head is on the other side of the fence line there. But,
Yeah, and that's Indian land on the other side of the fence line.
well, it's
Public land.
I mean, you'd have to ask. You'd have to
I
ask
thought.
Wade, but I mean,
Pretty sure it's Forest Service land.
No, that's Forest Service land, but somehow the water rights are. You have to ask Wade on it. He said that they would know if we're taking their water.
I'm going to call Wayne out on that because I've made that hike down that trough,
Yeah.
as you have a million times. And as you go around that mountain, you step over the spring on the road.
Yeah, but
And you step over the little
Right.
thing, and then at one point, it's not there.
yeah, but water rights are way different though. It's
Right,
more
what I'm
about
saying.
where it ends up. Like where the water ends up is more or less who owns the water. There's a big old kind of
Where it ends
little lawsuit going on right now between because I got a friend who's a judge and he's
Wait, did you say
overlooking this-
Wayne?
Wade,
Uncle
our
Wade.
Uncle Wade, yeah.
Uncle Wade would know.
Yeah.
Uncle
Yeah.
Wade would know. I'm not going to even challenge
Yeah.
Uncle Wade.
Yeah.
Uncle Wayne does business
Wayne,
law.
I don't know. Yeah, no, Uncle Wayne.
I was
going to
say, Uncle Wayne. Now
Wade,
tell me about this. Break this
Yeah.
down for me because that
No,
does.
Wade-
But Wade knows a lot
Yeah.
about water
Yeah.
rights law,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't even
So
challenge
he,
Wade
he
on that.
yeah, he says it's more. I think he says the Indians who own it and
Probably.
something like that to where they would know if we're taking their water. How I don't know. Josh and I have talked about this to
Well, that creek would run dry at some
Yeah,
point
yeah.
for a while.
yeah
But I mean, it only feeds into that little.
yeah.
Isn't there
So,
just a little?
yeah?
If you go
it's
past Alpine, isn't there a little?
something,
know.
I'm not even really sure to be honest. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. So
Right on,
oh,
man.
man, it's gorgeous up there, man.
Yeah, we definitely. I need to go. My mom's up there right now, so
Yeah.
I might be going up there this week.
Get up there, man.
Yeah. I
I got some. I
didn't go
going
for
up this
so
weekend.
long up there.
Yeah.
When I was living out of state and stuff, I think the longest it's been is like 8 or 10
Yeah.
years. But
It's fun up there, man.
it's a lot of
Good
fun.
time. It's a good time. So.
Yeah. And your dad is the one that made it fun. Your dad put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that place,
He
and
was, yeah, no, he was up there a lot, man. He was
well,
up there
that
a lot,
whole
so.
property is kind of like a memorial to your dad. Is
Yeah,
the way I see
yeah.
it. Being up there this last time without him was different.
No, it was, man. Yeah, it's
You know.
quite the difference without him up there. So
So,
yeah, it's tough without him up there, man. So
but but his memory lives on. We all love him. We all miss him.
yeah,
You know, he is quite an amazing individual. So
he definitely did a lot up there, man. So he did a lot.
yeah,
so.
he made it what it was.
Yeah.
So, do you have any shout outs or anything like that you want to give before we wind it up?
Oh man, it's this was cool coming on here, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming
I've never
on.
done this, man. I don't have the smoothest voice in the industry, man, but
Oh, you're fine, man. You're fine. Don't trip.
I've enjoyed this, man. This
Yeah,
is
it's
cool.
been good.
No, honestly, man, once I get this place up on Home Away or wherever I put it up, I'll let you know, man, because I'd love to get people up there
Cool.
and
Yeah, we'll make, like I said, we'll definitely make a video. We'll put
yeah,
it on
man.
my channel and
Yeah.
give people a chance to check it
Yeah.
out. So,
It's cool, man.
all
It's
right, Planet Earth, we are out of here. Thank you very much for tuning in, and above all, be excellent to each other. Bye bye.